Thank you very much once again to welcome you to Math Zone African Motives. Today we are going to look at Business Studies Grade 12, Paper 1, whereby we are going to do Section C. So you know very well that Section C is all about the essay. So we are going to attend to the essay question under Section C, whereby you know very well that always Section C is question 5 and question 6. So make sure that you are going to share with others and make sure that you are going to hit the subscription button. So without wasting much time, let us attend to our business of today. So there is an instruction that we are given under this section. Answer any one question in this section. So you are to answer one question. You choose whether you go for question 5 or you go for question 6. But for us, as we are preparing, we are going to do both question 5 and 6. So there is a note that is given. Clearly indicate the question number of the chosen question. The answer to the question must start on a new page. Example, question 5 on a new page or question 6 on a new page. That is that. So now let us attend to question 5. So question 5, which is business environments, legislation. We're talking about legislation. So here we are going to be looking at the legislation. So what is all about this legislation? You know for sure that it refers to laws. It refers to laws. That's the legislation. It refers to laws or regulations created and enforced by a governing body. So that is legislation. So it reads as follows. The basic aim of the Skills Development Act, SDA 1998, Act 1997 of 1998, is to expand on the knowledge and competences of the labor force. SETAs, which is a Sector Education Training Authority, were established to facilitate the implementation of this SDA. Businesses are expected to oblige with this act and be fully conversant with its requirements. So, we are asked to write an essay on a skill development act in which we include the following aspects. So there will always be aspects that we are given. So when you write your essay, make sure that you are going to write your essay based on a given aspects. So you have to make use of those aspects that are given. So before we can do anything when we are writing an essay, we know for sure that you are not going to write an essay without an introduction. So make sure that you are going to have an introduction, a very short, brief introduction, because it is going to earn you only 2 marks. So those are the marks that you are not going to just leave out. So without wasting much time, let us come to the given aspect. The first one says outline the role of SETAs in supporting skill development. Now we will wonder what the role of SETAs in supporting skills development. Another aspect, explain the purpose of Skill Development Act. Explain the purpose of Skills Development Act. Moving on, discuss the impact of Skills Development Act on business. Now we want what? The impact of Skills Development Act on business. Recommend ways in which business can comply with this act, which is SDA, Skills Development Act. So now we are to go to our answer book and try to answer our easy question, starting with question 5. Starting with question 5. So we are going to write question 5. Then we write our introduction. Introduction. So we are going to write our introduction under this legislation. So we are going to say the Skills Development Act was introduced. The Skills Development was the Skills Development Act was introduced to redress the imbalances of the past. Skills Development Act was introduced to redress the imbalances of the past. So that is that. This act was introduced to redress the imbalances of the past, to come up with the solution remedy. Well, solution or remedy for those previously disadvantaged people. So there was no balance in the past because certain people were able to access the skills and knowledge while others got no chance to get skilled or be educated or to get education. So this act was brought into account to redress those balances that were there in the past. So that is that. That is how you can write your introduction and then get your 2 marks. Now we move on to the body. Come to the body of our essay, whereby now we are to go back to the question and try to see which aspect now we are to first start with. So the aspect that you're going to start with is outline the role of setters in supporting the Skills Development Act. So now we're going to write what? The role of setters in supporting Skills Development Act. So we are going to write what? The role of we are going to say the role of setters in supporting Skills Development Act. So you write the role of setters in supporting Skills Development Act. So that is that. So then you write the points under that heading. So you make those aspects the headings when you write your essay. And remember that you're going to write it in points form. It's going to write it in point form. So we are going to say setters ensure skills development in specific industry. Setters ensures skills development in specific industry. in specific industry. So setters ensure skills development in a specific industry. For example, we can talk about, let's talk about the banking sector offers training programs for bank tellers and financial advisors. That's how they ensure skill development in a specific industry. So here we are talking about what? The banking. So the setters is going to offer training programs for bank tellers and financial advisors. Also, SETA, they fund leadership and training initiatives. They fund leaderships and training initiatives. They fund leaderships and training initiatives. Even here we can make an example to make it more clear. A construction company can apply for grants from the construction sector to train bricklayers. That is why you're saying they fund leaderships and training initiatives. So a company in the construction can apply for grants from the construction sector so that they are going to train the bricklayers to do what? To know how to build houses and stuff like that. So that is that. Also, they monitor and evaluate training providers. They monitor and evaluate training providers. That is that. So, for example, the services sector audits a private college to ensure quality education standards are met. So they can do the auditing as to see that the colleges or schools are meeting the standards. They are meeting the standards to ensure what quality education is given or provided. That. So another point now, still under the role of setters in supporting skill development. Another point is they report to the minister. They report to the minister, or we can say they report to the director general. They report to the director director general. They report to the director general. That is that. So they provide oversight of the efficient use of public funds and then report them to Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training. That is that. They also disperse levies. They also this they also disperse levies by collecting and distributing skills levies from employers to fund skills development initiatives. So these are the roles of what? Of setters. Now we are to move on to another aspect that is given. We are to move on to another aspect. So the other aspect that we're given is that the purpose of the Skills Development Act. The purpose of Skills Development Act. So now we are to go and answer purpose of skill Development Act. Purpose of Skills Development Act. The purpose, just write that aspect as an heading. The purpose of Skills Development Act. So the purpose of Skill Development Act is that they develop skills to enforce workforce. So you're going to say to develop skills of the workforce. Of the workforce. So that is that. Meaning to say, we can talk of within an IT company whoever is going to train employees in coding languages such as Python and Java and stuff. That is, they are developing the skills of the workforce by doing that. Also, to increase investment in education and training. To increase investment in education and training. To increase investment in education and training. Example, you can talk about a factory sets aside part of its budget for staff training in machinery operation. You see? So a factory can try by all means to set aside part of its budget just for training the personnel so that they can be able to operate what? The machines. That is that. To improve employment prospects of disadvantaged groups. To improve employment prospects of disadvantaged groups. Of disadvantaged groups. Those groups that were previously disadvantaged. So it can do that by trying to, for example, offer internships for unemployment youth from rural areas. So you can come up with some internships so that the such people can be able to access jobs. So that is that. Also, another purpose of this act, Skills Development Act, is that it is to encourage business to use the workplace as training environment. To encourage business to use the workplace as a training environment. To use workplace as a training environment. That is that. So that is that. You can talk of a retail store can train new cashiers on the job rather than only in classrooms. You see, that is how they are going to use what? A workplace as a training environment. So now we are moving to another aspect. We are moving to another aspect. So the other aspect is that discuss the impact of Skills Development Act on business. The impact of SDA on business. So you know very well that when you talk of impact, you talk of negative or positives, advantages or disadvantages. So let's quickly go and try by all means to answer that question. So now we are going to write the impact of the SDA, which is Skill Development Act, on business. So you're going to start by the positive impacts. Positive impacts or advantages. So the positive impacts, are going to start access to training grants and tax rebates. Access to training grants and tax rebates. Access to training grants and tax rebates. For example, a manufacturing firm gets a refund after submitting its workplace skill plan to SETA. So you are to submit the workplace skills plan so that they can see that the training that you're going to provide to trainees or to these employees is going to attend to the needs of those people. So after that, after they've confirmed it, now they are going to give the organization or the manufacturing firm the grants so that they can now be able to train those people or those employees so that they can be competent enough to deliver. That is that. Also, under still advantages of this act on business is that increases productivity and efficiency. Increases productivity and efficiency. It increases productivity and efficiency. So that is that. So that is whereby you can say a trained machine operators reduce production errors in clothing factory. You see? So those well-trained machine operators, as an example, they are going to reduce what production errors in a clothing factory. So that's when we're talking about the efficiency. They're going to be very efficient enough because they are well-trained. So there will be no errors in a clothing factory. Also, the productivity is going to increase because those people will be competent enough to deliver. So that is that. Also, it improves competitiveness. Improves competitiveness. It improves competitiveness. So whenever we are saying a company with skilled employees or let's say engineers, as an example, can compete internationally. That's true. So that is why we are saying it improves competitiveness. Now we can talk about the negative side of this act on a business. Where we could write negative impact. Negative impacts. So it increases administrative work. Increases administrative work. administrative work. It increases administrative work. For example, you can say the HR staff spend more time preparing workplace skills plans and annual training reports. See, those are the administrative work. Also, another disadvantage or negative part of this act is that business must contribute 1% of their payroll to the skills development levy. Business are now to part ways with their profit. Businesses must contribute 1% of payroll to the skills development levy. To the skills development levy. So you see now they are to part ways with some of their profit and then pay it to the skill development levy in return so that they can now be able to qualify to get the grants. So that is that. So now let us move on to another aspect. Let us move on to another aspect. As you can see now, recommend ways in which business can comply with the act. Recommend ways in which business can comply with this act, which is a Skills Development Act. So now we come ways in which business can comply with Skills Development Act. Can comply with the act. With the act, which is our Skills Development Act. So for them to comply with this act, they must register with the relevant SETA. Register with the relevant SETA. Register with the relevant SETA. Is you can talk about the catering company registers with the food and beverage SETA. That is a sector that they are under. So as a business must make sure that you're going to register with the relevant sector. Still remember that this is a sector education training authority. So if you are under catering, it means now the right sector to register with is what? Food and beverage sector. So that is that. Coming to another point, pay the Skills Development Act. Pay the Skills Development Levy. Development levy. So business are to pay this levy, the 1% that we've talked about, so that they will qualify to get the grant. That is that. Also appoint now. Appoint a skills development facilitator. A skill development facilitator. Appoint skills development facilitator. So that is that. Also, for the business to comply, they must submit workplace skills plan. Submit workplace skills plan. Submit workplace skills plan. So they have to submit what? Workplace skills plan. So now we are to conclude now. Now we are to conclude. So that is that. We are to conclude. Then we write what? Conclusion. Make sure that you also conclude. And that is another 2 marks that you are to make sure that you're going to grab it with both hands. So now we are concluding. So we can conclude this way. The Skills Development Act the Skills Development Act plays an important role, important role in ensuring that the South African workforce is skilled and encourage employee participation encourage employee participation in lifelong learning So that is that you get your two marks. So now we are to move on to question 6. Now we are to move on to question 6, which is now business operations. Now we're talking about what? Human resources. We're talking about human resources. So you know very well that when we're talking about human resources, we are referring to department with of an organization. We are referring to a department of an organization that mainly focuses on recruitment. You know, when you talk of this, we are going to talk about the recruitment. We are mainly going to employee relations. That's what it's all about. Employee relations. We are going to talk about benefits and compensation of the employees. The benefits and the compensation of what? Of employees. You know very well, we are going to talk about the employee management. That's all about what? The human resource. So without wasting much time, let us go to the scenario that is given here. Business that follow the correct selection procedures are able to identify suitable and qualified candidates for vacant positions. They also use different salary determination methods to ensure that their employees are remunerated correctly. Business offering fringe benefits and inducting new employees are more likely to have what? Productive workforce. Now we are to write an essay on the human resource function in which you are going to include the following aspects. Just like question 5, we are going to be given what? The aspect. Make use of those aspects. Don't write anything that is not uh, in relation, that is not in relation with this, the given aspects. So make sure that what you're going to write, you're going to write your essay basing yourself with the given aspects. Hope we understand each other. So now let us go and, but before we can go and attend to our essay, don't forget that just like question 5 that we treated, we are going to start with what? Introduction. Introduction is very important. Then after introduction, then we attend to the given aspects. So here are the aspects that we are going to write all our essay based on. Outline the selection procedure as a human resource activity. Selection procedure as a human resource activity. Explain two salary determination methods. Discuss the impact of fringe benefits on a business. Advise business on the benefits of what? Of the induction. That is that. So now let's quickly go and answer question 6. So now we are under question 6. Under question 6. So we know that the question 6 is all about what? Human resource function. Human resource, human resources function. So now we're going to write what? Our introduction. We're going to write our introduction. So the introduction you can give here is that the human resource manager, the human resource manager is responsible for selecting, is responsible for selecting and appointing qualified and appointing qualified qualified and competent employees. Competent employees to avoid fruitless expenditure. To avoid fruitless expenditure. So that is that about our introduction. The human resource manager, that is his task to make sure that he select and appoint those employees that are qualified, competent enough to deliver at workplace so that he or she is going to avoid the fruitless expenditure. So hope we are together on that one. Now we are moving on to the aspects now. So now we are going to the aspects that we are given. So we are asked to do what? To outline the selection procedure as a human resource activity. So now let us go and attend to it. Now let us go to attend to it. A selection procedure. We are going to write selection procedure as an HR activity, human resource activity. Human resource activity. Selection procedure as an human resource activity. So we are going to say receive applications. So you write those procedures now. Receive applications. Receive applications. That is whereby now a company advertises for an accountant and receive 200 CVs. So you're going to receive CVs now. Then moving on, screen and shortlist candidates. Screen and shortlist candidates. So that is whereby now you are going to only applications with BCom degrees are shortlisted. So those who do not qualify, now they are going to be screened out. They are not going to be included. So if the post was about the qualification that was needed was BCom degree in accounting, so those are the ones that will be shortlisted. And then those who do not meet the requirements now, it means now they will be left out. Now moving on again, we are going to have what? Conduct interviews. Conduct interviews. Conduct interviews. So if you are to interview, let's say 3 candidates are interviewed by a panel of managers. So that is that. Now you do what again? You do what you call skills testing. Skills testing. This that so you're talking about the psychometric test. So after that, you do what you call what? Check references. You check references. Check references and qualifications. After checking the references, now you offer employment. Offer employment. You offer employment. Top candidates receives a job offer letter. That is that. After that, you sign employment contract. Sign employment contract. So the new employee signs a permanent contract starting on the 1st of September or 1st of November. Then that is that. So now we are moving to another aspect and see which aspect we are to attend to it. So another aspect that we are to attend to is that explain the two salary determination methods. So we are to answer and to give answer on that uh, salary determination methods. Salary determination methods. So then you're going to write salary determination methods. Salary determination methods. Sorry for that. Let me write it in a nice way. Salary determination salary determination method. Then we start. We know under salary determination methods, we have two methods. That is time-related method. We have time-related method. So with this method, that is where we know very well that payment is based on hours worked. Payment is based on hours worked. Payment is based on hours worked. Example, a receptionist earns 7,000 per month regardless of workload. That is a time related. So another one we have what? Piece meal or piece work or performance related pay. So we have what? Piecemeal. We have piecemeal method. So this method, payment is based. Payment is based on output or sales. So example, we can say car salesperson earns commission for every car sold. So now the payment now is based on the performance. It's a performance related pay. So now we have to move on to another aspect. We are to move on to another aspect. So the other aspect or another question is discuss the impact of fringe benefits on business. Discuss the impact of fringe benefits on business. So let us attend to it. The impact of fringe benefits on business. The impact of fringe benefits on businesses. On business. So you're going to start with positive impacts. Because once it says the impact, you know, we're talking about positive or negative. So the first one attracts the skilled employees. attracts skilled employees. Attracts skilled employees. For example, a company offering medical aid attracts top engineers. What is that? A company offering medical aid attracts top engineers. That is the impact of fringe benefits on business. So if there are fringe benefits, you are going to have those people who are very competent employees are attracted to such a business that give what a fringe benefits. So that is that. Improves loyalty and motivation. Improves loyalty and motivation. Improves loyalty and motivation. So employees with housing allowances, not, I'm sorry for the example, incorrect example. We can say staff stay longer at a company that provides pension funds. That is a benefit, pension funds. So they are loyal. They are going to be loyal to such an organization that is providing what the pension funds. That is true. So now increases productivity. Increases productivity. It increases productivity. So increasing productivity, you can say employees with housing allowance worry less about rent and focus on work. You see, then the productivity is going to increase because they don't worry about the rent because there is what? The housing allowances. So their main focus now will be what? On productivity. Their focus will be on their work, not on rent payments, stuff like that. Now we have what? Negative impacts. Negative impacts. Expensive for the business. Expensive for the business. Example, providing free transport for workers increases company costs. That is why it's expensive. Such allowances now they cost toward the business now. That is what we're saying. Expensive for the business. Also, creates inequality if not fair. Creates inequality. Creates inequality if not fair. If not fair. Example, if only managers get bonuses, lower level staff may feel demotivated. You see, that is that. So now let us move on to another aspect. Let us move on to another aspect. So here we are. So the other aspect talks about what? Advise business on the benefits of induction. Advise business on the benefits of induction. So let's quickly go and attend to it. Let's quickly go and attend to it. We are now talking about what? The benefits of induction. Benefits of induction for businesses. Benefits of induction for businesses. That's the one. Helps employees understand company policies. Helps employees understand company policies. So a new bank teller learns customer service rules during induction. That is an example that I'm just giving to make my point more clear. A new bank teller is going to learn customer service rules during when? During the induction. That is that. Also, it reduces what? Anxiety. Reduces anxiety. Reduces anxiety. Reduces anxiety and uncertainty. And uncertainty. Uncertainty. So, for example, new teachers at school are shown classroom procedures before starting the work. So that is that when you're saying it reduce anxiety and uncertainty. They are going to be shown which classes they are going to attend. That is why we are making an example of those new recruits. But right now, I'm just talking about new teachers at school. They're going to be shown classrooms procedures before they can start their work. That reduces anxiety and uncertainty, improves productivity, improves productivity, improves productivity. For example, a new machine operator quickly adapts after safety training. That's true. Builds positive relationship. Builds positive relationship. Builds positive relationship. So a software company arranges a welcome lunch for new employee. So that will be, build what? A positive relationship. Also, it can minimize mistakes. Minimizes mistakes. Minimizes mistake. For example, a new cashier avoids errors because induction covered correct use of tills. You see, that is that. So now let us conclude. Let us conclude. Now we are going to write conclusion. We are now on conclusion. So under conclusion, now we are going to write competent employees who have been selected with the use of prescribed requirements and criteria will add value to the business. So that is how we can give conclusion and get your 2 marks. Thank you very much for your time. Make sure that you are going to share with others. And please don't forget to hit the subscription button And also make sure that you're going to use this presentation as a guide for you or to you to make sure that you're going to be well prepared, ready for the coming sitting of the November exam. Thank you very much.